Hey Cup of Christ fam, welcome back to another video. Okay, take two, let's try this again. I am so sorry, I do not know what happened. It was a weird day yesterday. So I'm just gonna restart this all over again and redo this. And I will get this video out today in the name of Jesus. So I just wanted to come on here real quick because I know I have been talking a lot about my testimony. Don't get me wrong guys, I love bragging about what God does and what he can do in your life, and I love bragging about what he's done in my life because that's just how God is. God is just so amazing. He has to be bragged on. But at the same time, I made this channel so that I can also be transparent. And I wanted you guys to see that not only do I have great times and the Lord does bless me, but there are times where I have struggles and I wanted to share them with you because I want you to be encouraged that if you are going through the same thing, you are not alone. And so during this move, ever since the beginning of the move, I have been busy left and right. I had been, you know, I'm a Sunday school teacher, so I had been trying to get my kids' lessons ready. I've been trying to do this. I've been at work. I've been, you know, here. In fact, that's why I'm recording this video in my living room, because my room is still unpacked. And it's been 2 weeks that I've been at this house, but we've just been on the go, and I have been feeling like I was being stretched thin. And during that time, during that process, I've been trying to talk to the Lord. I've been saying, Lord, you know, I'm trying to talk to you. I'm trying to share my stress. Where are you? And it felt like he wasn't listening. It felt like he didn't hear me. I'll be honest, I felt like this wall was just between us. So I just tried to keep busy so that I didn't worry as much, but that didn't help. I kept worrying. In fact, the more I got involved in everything, the more I was just feeling all this stress pile on. And I was just so mentally and physically exhausted. And last week I was just so exhausted that I came home from work one day and I just laid out on the bed, and I didn't do anything. I was just there. And I remember hearing this voice that said, "Can I talk to you now?" And it pricked my heart because I was thinking, oh my gosh, I've been so busy and I've been so stressed about everything, and yet I wasn't taking time to listen for the voice of the Lord. He was trying to talk to me that whole time, but it wasn't in the way that I expected. And I'm reminded of the time when Elijah was in the cave, and I want to read that part to you. It's 1 Kings 19, 11 through 12. And it says, "Then he said, 'Go out and stand on the mountain before the Lord.' And behold, the Lord passed by, and a great strong wind tore into the mountains and broke the rocks in pieces before the Lord. But the Lord was not in the wind. And after the wind, an earthquake. But the Lord was not in the earthquake. And after the earthquake, a fire. But the Lord was not in the fire. And after the fire, a still small voice." And I had expected God to respond in some, you know, big, powerful words, but actually he was just trying to have that moment, that intimate time with me. And I was sitting here talking over him, and I was just yelling at him and asking him where was he, and he was there the whole time, but I wasn't listening to his small, still voice. And I think we do that sometimes, because even in Psalms 46:10 it says, "Be still and know that I am God." And sometimes work and the world around us, there's so many noises going on around us that we forget that we have to be still, that we have to have that quiet time with the Lord. And not just quiet time so that we can pray and talk to God and everything. It's time where we just have to actually be quiet. And I realized that I was constantly talking over him and not even trying to hear what he had to say. I mean, I don't talk a lot, right?
That's a good one.
But it was in that moment that I realized that even when I still tend to talk a lot, he took the time to wait until I was ready to listen. It's funny because I work in a call center, and our team leaders told us that there will be times where we get a call from someone and they're upset and they're angry and they're yelling, and we won't be able to get our point across. But the key is not to talk over them or yell over them or try to be louder than them. But they told us the key is actually to lower your voice almost to a whisper, because when that happens, the person on the other end will have to be quiet to hear what you're saying. And that's exactly what God has to do with us. Sometimes we are too busy yelling and asking, Lord, where are you? What's going on? And we tell him all these problems. and yet he just wants us to be quiet and be in his presence. He just wants to fill us with his Spirit and let his Spirit calm us and renew our strength. So if you are going through that a really tough time right now, I encourage you to take time. I mean, we can take hours upon hours to watch TV or Netflix or be on our phones or social media, and yet we can't even take a few minutes with the Lord. So right now, if you are going through a really tough time, I encourage you to, take a moment, just shut off your phone, shut everything off, go to your room. If you have a closet that's big enough, go to your closet and just sit there and be silent. Allow the Lord's presence to come and calm you. And the few minutes that I was on my bed and I just allowed him to talk to me, that's when I realized that I needed that, because my heart was refreshed. It was like that boundary that I felt was gone, because I finally was able to renew myself. And I realized, even now, I'm still learning that I have to take time for the Lord. I have to allow him, and not just to complain or whatever, but to be silent and just be in his presence and allow his Spirit to rejuvenate mine and to give me the strength. It's like in any relationship, if you want it to flourish or if you want it to grow and to prosper, there has to be a line of communication. And that's exactly how it is with the Lord. If you want your relationship with the Lord to flourish, you have to make the time to be in a spot and just let him speak to you. Allow him to speak to your heart and renew your strength and your spirit. And when that happens, I promise everything else will just vanish. The few moments that I was on my bed and allowing him to speak, I felt so much strength. I felt that all my problems just washed away because I allowed him to speak to me. So I encourage you all to do the exact same thing. If you are going through it, take them a moment, not to talk to him, not to tell him about your problems, but ask him to just speak to your heart and take the moment, that time to be silent. So I hope this video has encouraged you. This Christian walk is not easy, but when you have that open communication with the Lord, then you will know that he is going to be there with you and he's going to take care of everything. It's just there are times where we need to be still and allow him to work. Thank you all so much for tuning in and for your support. In the name of Jesus, this video is working. And I hope you all have a wonderful week. I'm praying for you all. I love you guys. And I will see you next Monday for sure. God bless you all.